you for watching our channel. Thank you for finding our channel, Cleophas Walks with Jesus.
Ooh.
Here we are today. Um, it is May the 4th in the afternoon, early in the afternoon. Thank God we have a little bit of rain, but not really pouring, so we have a wonderful time today. So today, friends, I'm here in the home of my friend Elizabeth, and we belong to the same church in town. And over the course of our, being church members, I found out that she had some experiences, of course. And this interview here is about our faith. What is our faith? How strong is that faith? And what's the basis of this faith? So that's what we have today. And so, are you ready,
I'm
Elizabeth?
ready. I'm ready.
All right. All right. So we're gonna talk about this faith or no faith. That doesn't apply here, obviously. In eternity, we're talking about eternity, the things that we don't see. If you're out there, you probably ask this question too, and ask yourself, do I believe in God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, all the things around us that we didn't create as man? Or you're more of the Big Bang scientific thing? They're not exclusive. They're not, or really contrary. So, let's start with the first question, Elizabeth, about your faith. Tell us who you are and what do you do?
I, at this time in my life, work with people with special needs because they may suffer from Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease and different diseases like that. And so I do a lot of entertaining and trying to keep people happy and being there if they need to cry and just showing them dignity and joy. And I quietly, when I hug people, I'm often quietly praying over them for God to just fill them with the Holy Spirit and peace and joy and comfort and protection. Protection from the caregivers. No, I'm just kidding. Some of the caregivers. No.
And how long have you been doing this?
16, 15 years. 15 years.
15 years, okay. How did it get started?
Well, I've been a photographer for over 30 years, and when I moved up here, I continued to be a photographer and got a studio, but then within about a year after I got here, I got cancer, and so I had to put a hold on everything, and at that point I needed to get back to work. I didn't have the leeway to just do my photography, and when you've been a photographer and a retoucher for 30 years in LA, so it's not like I'm qualified to do a lot of other things. So someone suggested I try working as an activities director in assisted livings, and that's how this came to be, that I'm doing what I'm doing.
Well,
Mhm.
good.
And it's an opportunity to be a blessing.
Yeah, well, it looks like you loved it because you've been doing it for 15 years, you said. I think.
Mhm.
I remember 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Now, you are a Christian, obviously,
Mhm.
and you believe in that. And so we're talking about our faith, the
Mhm.
things that we don't really see, but somehow we still believe it. So
Mhm.
tell us about this faith. What is your faith? what does it mean to you,
Well,
and why? And why?
well, um, when I grew up in, my family was not religious, and when I was 5, I started walking to school, to the bus stop in the morning with our neighbor and my little friend Timmy. And I'd go to Timmy's house, and yeah, 5 years old, we walked to a bus stop by ourselves because
Wow.
it was the late 50s, early 60s. So when I would pick Timmy up, I would go in, and then in the entryway there, everyone would pray. His mom, we would all pray. And I loved that, and that was really like a mustard seed. And I asked my mom, can I go to church with Timmy and his family? And she said, sure. And then I ended up also going to church with a couple of other neighbors. One where I even sang in the choir as a little child in a huge Lutheran church.
Lutheran.
Mm-hmm. And then we moved, and my mom found a sweet little Presbyterian church for me in Portola Valley, near where we live. And then, so I always believed in Jesus. Always. It was since I was like going to church with Timmy. So then, of course, as somewhere in high school, I stopped thinking about my faith, and then when I was like 40, I started thinking about it again, and I got a Bible out, and I just kept thinking about it, and I thought I opened that Bible, and I've got to, so I ended up getting a photography job, because I was a photographer, photographing CeCe Winan, who's a really well-known gospel singer, her children, her son and daughter. And then about a day later, they said CeCe Winan's brothers and we're going to be on Oprah. And I go, I'm going to watch that, since I just, have spent time with her. And as her brothers started singing, I totally fell in love with Jesus. And I'll never forget the moment. It was like I was just in love. And I called a friend who was originally a client. I had photographed her son, and I said I wanted to go to church with her. And I got to church that Sunday, and I just couldn't stop crying for the whole time. And I had no Kleenex or long sleeves, so that was challenging. But basically, I renewed my faith in Jesus, and I learned really what it meant when he died on the cross. I really started to learn what it was all about. And
so is that from the songs, or you actually started learning? Because you are actually covering. She knew what is coming next. Elizabeth here knew what's coming next to my question.
I know.
What's your faith, and what does it mean?
Well, my faith means it's the truth. It's the way and the light. And if I didn't have it to lean on, life would be more difficult than it already is. And I truly feel that, and I know I was skipping that question, I'm sorry. But it's the way, the truth, and the light. It really is the life and the light. And there's a show called I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist, and
oh yeah, I heard about
I
that.
don't have enough faith to be, I can't imagine. It's so weird to me that people don't believe
Yeah, because atheists,
in
they
a
say,
higher being and in an intelligent creator. But my faith is let me put it this way, and it's all about having that relationship with Jesus. It's he and I,
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus and I talk to him all day. All day, he's right there, and I
So your faith is
talk to him.
so your faith is having a relationship with Jesus.
Yes, and I
then
try
and then
to
its
tell
meaning
people
is
that.
and uh, its meaning to you is that relationship is a real relationship.
It's real, and that he, not just that I'm going to have eternal life, but he's watching over me, and to have direct, instantaneous communication with the creator of the universe is pretty amazing.
Wow.
And
Wow, yeah, yeah.
I try to tell people, it's not about religion, quote unquote. It's about having a relationship with Jesus, the Son of God,
And that's the main
creator of the universe.
And that's the thing with a lot of people is that they feel that faith is about religion.
Right.
It has an aspect of that because religion is about faith. So now I know you already kind of covered my question 3, which is
but that
how
was,
did you come to your faith? And it seems like it's by association, I guess. When you were a kid, when you were like 5 years old, you got introduced.
I knew I wanted, when I was with Timmy and his family and they prayed, I knew I wanted to go to church.
Right.
It was just like, I want to go to church with Timmy. I wanted to be there. And I never doubted that Jesus existed. But I never really understood all the Bible study of it all, and why, and him dying on the cross. I was like, I don't get this. He died on, I believe in him, but he died on the cross. But of course, once I took the time to learn,
Made sense.
it was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. So so your faith, I ask here if it's unique. Is there a uniqueness to that? Because I've heard that on other people too. At a certain point in their life, they met somebody, they got introduced, and then they got drawn in. But is there a uniqueness in your case that you can think of? Why you got drawn to that?
Well,
and it became so strong, even though you got some
well, I
questions.
think it's interesting that photography, which had been my passion for 40 years, it was through my photography that I ended up, in the roundabout way, I ended up going back to church because of meeting Cece and then wanting to see her brothers all singing at 24 hours later, and then suddenly just having that experience of being filled with that love, of just feeling totally in love with Jesus and just going, oh my gosh. And I immediately called my friend. So it's just,
So there's a strong experiential aspect to the draw that.
Well, I never don't remember not believing, and some people are drawn to the Lord and some people aren't. But then they can be if I always was since I was little, even though I really I put the Lord on the back burner, although he never put me on the back burner, but I put him on the back burner. And so I just think that,
College, it seems to be that's when they start happening, that putting Jesus on the back burner. When you hit college, you're strong when you're a kid,
right.
you're going with the family to high school, and then you get introduced to this modern ideas,
right,
and
right. Your priorities
change.
change.
Yeah. Now, how do you know that your particular faith is true? You probably know about the other religions too, right? How do you know this one is true?
Because of all the evidence, the historical evidence is beyond reproach. There's so much evidence, and I love apologetics.
Okay, so you watch apologetics.
I love apologetics, and it just I think it's really fascinating. But there's the Shroud of Turin,
Yeah.
the resurrection, and how there were witnesses, and they never would, that if they were making it up, why would they have women go discover the tomb was empty? And I love learning all about that. It's so interesting, and because of the internet, you learn more and more on how your ribs and different things just in your body has God's total fingerprints on it, literally.
I'm glad you mentioned about that fingerprint, because I believe that too.
Yeah, I mean, and when people go, well, I'm into science, so I don't believe in God. It's like, well, if you're into science, then I think you can't deny there's intelligent creator. So don't pull the science card on me, because that's just
it's very interesting. But we can talk more about that.
Yeah.
So what do you expect and hope in this faith?
I really I don't have any expectations, except that I know that I'm gonna go home to be with the Lord and my family for eternity. But I don't put expectations on my faith, because if you put expectations out there, then you're only going to get disappointed when things don't happen. I just trust in the Lord, and I take things a day at a time, because I'm all alone and all on my own, so
I see.
I don't have time for complaining about things people complain about. I'm like, yeah, it's like you must have a lot of time on your hands. That's all I can think.
But at least you are hopeful. At least you are hopeful, right?
Oh yeah, that's because of the resurrection. You know everything was true, and my hope is in God and His promises, and His promises are solid, totally solid. Yeah.
How is it helping you now, this faith? How does it help you in ways?
It helps me get through the day, because life is really tough. It helps me get through my job, which is very difficult, physically and emotionally. I deal with people who are in really bad shape. They're very sad. They're dying a lot of times, or there's a lot of deaths and a lot of families. And so I heard there was this girl who was murdered in Columbine tragedy years ago, and she wrote in her journal, she loved the Lord, and she goes, when I walk down the hall way in school, I want my Jesus's light to shine so bright in me that people like look and go, whoa, they see this light. And so for me, it gets me through work, where and how difficult it is, because I just want to shine His light, you know, and it gets me through every single thing I do. There's, I mean, every moment is, I get from one moment to the next because of the Lord. It isn't, oh, when I'm running late or I'm worried about certain things that like people worry about in life, health or finances, and it's not just then, it's every moment. And it's funny, I think sometimes, and I'm not against money at all, and being able to go on vacations and stuff, but sometimes I think that people, they're able to ignore, they don't need God like some people, you know, you go to somewhere like where people are suffering and they are so hungry for the Lord. And then you have people who are just got, and like I said, I am not against money. I wish I had a bunch more, so I don't. But some people, it's like they don't even need God because they're so in their heads, because they're so into, they've got all this power and materialistic things, and but and I love stuff, don't get me wrong, I'm materialistic, but I mean, I need God every moment, because of choices I made, I'm alone, and, but it really makes you,
More grounded.
you know, really, not have this buffer between you and life. You need God. God is my buffer. I can't go on without Him.
Are there obligations in this faith? And are you responding and to its call?
I don't like to call them all. The only obligation that I have is to make sure that I'm doing the best I can, shine God's light, and you know, be a good servant. And but you know, my obligation is when I go into work, I make a difference. Or even just in a everyday situation in the grocery store, there's always opportunities to be a blessing and say something to people, and even roll your window down and go, "You look so good. I love that outfit," you know. But that's my obligation, is to try to walk the walk. But believe me, there's a great T-shirt I saw not long ago. It said, "Walking in faith, stumbling constantly, tripping constantly," and I go, yeah, but God knows that.
And that's what we learned from our pastor sometime ago.
Right.
You stumble and then you just get back. You just get back.
And I love the way he said, "Jump right back in, jump
right
in,
back.
jump in."
You can't do it yourself. You gotta catch that wind.
Jump in, jump in.
So this next one is kind of, you know, obvious now. The question was, are you inclined to share more about your faith?
You know what's so bad about me is I love.
And this is the time. This is the time, by the way, Elizabeth, that this part here, I think you can share. And I don't know. We talked about this a little bit about the experience that you have that are somewhat supernatural.
Oh, okay.
I know you have a long list, but if we can pick
sure.
one or two, and then we'll come back to the other ones, because we don't want to be bombing the crowd here.
No, absolutely.
So this is where you can cover that.
Absolutely, and I want to say I am always preaching to the choir. You know, I love to talk about my faith when I'm at work around all the residents and people I work with, but I know I'm safe there. I know, you know, so, and I don't like to bombard people with my faith, but I totally don't hide that I'm Christian, but I don't go and proselytize to them. I just show them what a good, that I try to show them my God thing, you know, my God light. I just try to be, so they look at me and go, oh, she's a Christian. We don't believe in God, but for a Christian, I mean, she's a good person, you know? That, so, but as far as going and preaching to somebody, that's never been my thing. Okay.
Yeah. But this is something that there may be somebody out there. I know, probably me too. At some point in my life, I asked, and especially when you're really down, I said, "Oh, you know, I have this faith and I think it's strong, but then I've been asking, and I don't see anything. I don't. Is God so far away? Something like that." There might be somebody who might be in that mode,
Yeah.
and they don't know what to make out of it. And then there's other noises over here coming from other people, maybe from another faith that is not Christian, and they get pulled over there. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So maybe this is something that would help those people, and even those who are not very
Right.
strong like you, and then shed more light. Because we were asked to be light and salt to the people.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Well,
talk to us on one of those experiences or two.
I'm gonna start with one that it's probably, okay. I'm not gonna preface it with anything, all right, like I was about to. Okay, it was, I've been working at my job I have now for 8 going on 9 years, so this was before this job. So this was probably about 10 or 11 years ago. And I always collected plastic bottles and stuff for this guy who would, you'd see him when we used to have where you could recycle stuff in town. And I'd always see him walking around, and he didn't have a car, but he was always collecting bottles. So I would always be collecting them for him. And so when I'd see him as I was driving through town, I'd pull over and give him some hefty bags of bottles, because where I was working, people got rid of a lot of bottles, and the lady I was watching over would have a lot of little water bottles. And so one day it was raining, and I was coming through that area where McDonald's is and grocery outlet, and I was right along that little area in front of the stores about to pull out, and I see this homeless guy, and I thought, oh, I think I have a bag or two of bottles, and it was drizzling out, and he wasn't that kind of, we see a lot of homeless people. He wasn't that kind of really dirty, where the skin color is all different, just from being out in the elements, and the clothes, or they look like they're alcoholics and stuff like that. He didn't have that look, and he had medium length hair, not super short, and a beard and a mustache and dark hair, and a white guy. And so I stop the car, and I get out, and I go, I've got bags of bottles here. And I flip open my trunk, and I look, and there's no bags in there. And I look up in his face. He's taller than me, like everybody's taller than me. And I look up into his face. And I look right into his face, and this is him, and I'm looking up.
Close.
And I'm about to say, I'm so sorry. that I don't have any bottles. And then as I'm looking at him, I suddenly realize he looks beautiful. He just suddenly, I see this I don't see a homeless man. I see this beautiful man. And I literally went, and then he's looking at me and his eyes well up with tears. This all happens in moments. I went, and then we continue in that moment looking at each other, and he's like, and his eyes fill up with tears, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he can see that I can see that he's not this homeless guy, but he's someone. He, he's this gorgeous guy. I mean, he could have been, it was so strange that literally I went, and then it's like he could see that I could see something. And I thought, he's crying because he sees that I can see, and it just, maybe no one saw that, I don't know. So year after year went by, I never stopped thinking about it.
But where did he go after you?
We departed ways. He goes, and then suddenly he's going, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. And I go, okay, I'm so sorry, and I get back in the car and
But you got that.
Go back on the
moment.
road.
Yeah.
But for years I thought about it, and then one day I've been watching The Chosen, and the guy who plays Jesus, and I'd been watching a documentary on him and all this stuff, and then I remember I suddenly went, oh my God, that was the face I saw. That was the face I saw.
The one in The Chosen? How many years
I
after?
feel like it was about a year ago.
But between when you saw that guy
Yeah.
and this Chosen,
That I
1
never
year
made
difference?
the connection all these years, but I never stopped thinking about that moment because it was so,
So it's many years past.
yeah.
Many years past.
But
You don't
I
know
always thought about
about
him.
that. And then you watch The Chosen. Said,
And
that's
I'd watched The Chosen before, and I wasn't even watching The Chosen. I was watching a documentary
Yeah.
on The Chosen that the
I think I
gentleman
saw a
who
little
played
bit.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think I saw a little bit of his. It is still going on. I've seen it.
But
yeah.
But I feel like you're laughing at what I'm telling you.
No.
You should be careful. Like, I feel like you're laughing at me. But,
No. I'm talking about.
But the thing is,
I'm not laughing at.
Okay.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm
Okay.
just.
Let me
It's
just,
like.
okay, let me just finish.
Yeah.
So this happened about 10 years ago, and I never stopped thinking about it because it was such an incredible moment when that happened. And it was like he went from looking like a normal person to this beautiful, beautiful face that I literally went, and then I could tell he saw that I was seeing something, but now, and I might be wrong, but almost a decade later, I was watching that documentary about a year ago, and I went, oh my God, that's like the face that I saw. And I go, maybe that was Jesus I was seeing.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was
Okay.
years before
Yeah.
I made that connection. And will I ever know for sure? No, but I definitely knew that in that moment, it literally made me, and I think when these kind of things happen, they happen when you're least expecting them. You're not like looking for it, and you just suddenly just realize, I mean, it was just the strangest moment when I looked up into his face, and maybe it's just all was my imagination, but I can't forget how I literally gasped. I went,
Yeah.
because it was like, oh my God, he looks beautiful.
Jesus is
And
beautiful,
then
right?
he looked at me like, she sees who I really am, but I wasn't making the Jesus connection. But in that moment, and it was like he cried, like, she sees that
Wow.
I'm not this
Yeah.
loser, homeless person, whatever. So that was probably my, a really major one.
So did
For
your
me.
did your faith got stronger because of that?
Um, it, it was already strong.
Okay.
Yeah. It was already strong. For sure. Daddy.
So I know you made a list and there's several.
Yes.
Did you want to talk about another one, or we
Yeah,
leave it
let
like
me
that?
see, because I did. Oh, okay.
We can come back to the other
Yeah. Well, that one's done, and I never saw that homeless guy again.
Yeah.
And
Hello.
it was right there by McDonald's and grocery outlet.
Yeah.
Well, one day I was driving to work, and I was coming across the newer bridge, and I was headed to go down Folsom Auburn all the way to Eureka before you get to Douglas.
Okay.
And I turned left on Eureka. So as I come across the bridge, I'm always in that far left-hand lane, so I don't have to lane change. People
Yeah.
drive like maniacs on Folsom Auburn. And so, okay. So suddenly I just pulled into the right-hand lane before I went through the intersection. I was at a stoplight, and I pull into the lane next to me. And I go, why did I do that? And I go, well, you know what? Maybe God wants you to be in this lane. So just stay in the lane. And I never would have even remembered this incident, but it's because of what happened afterwards. So, and I'm the first car. There's no cars in front of me, not that that really matters. Of course, there's tons of cars behind that have started building up at the light, and then the light turns green, and we're rolling along at 50, 60 miles an hour, whether you like it or not, up Folsom Auburn with all the kind of stretches and curves, and I'm in the far right-hand lane, and we're coming around this one curve, and I hear this, like, and I'm like, and I'm driving, and I went, and I look like this, sort of over, and then I watch as a hubcap goes spinning in front of me, and then it lands in the grass alongside the, Dougie, come here, and it spins across the road in front of me and lands in the, dried grass there on the side of the road, and imagine it's almost like in slow motion. And then in like slow motion, I look over like this to the lane next to me, and the cars are coming around curving, and it had popped off a huge tire on a huge white work truck. And so it's like I looked, and then I looked back just in time to see this huge wheel come flying off and hit the car that was one car ahead of me, which is basically, I remember knowing that's exactly where I would have been. And I watch, and it comes flying out, and then I'm passing the car, and I look in my rearview mirror to watch it bash against the car, but then I have to keep going at 60 miles an hour, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was so curious what happened, because that work truck lost its driver's side front wheel. And so, but like, I saw it and I could hear it thump as I'm passing the car.
Yeah.
Right. But it was like that. My first thought was, oh my gosh,
You got
that
saved.
would have been me. I mean, if I had not moved over a lane, that would have been me.
Yeah.
God was giving a little wink,
Yeah.
you know. Not that that would have.
He's not done with you.
Yeah. Well, not even like that would have. It's almost like he goes, you know what? Just for your faith in this moment, I'm gonna do something. So yeah, you will go. Oh my gosh! I guess God was wanting me to stay in this lane. I don't know, but that I was so. My mouth was just hanging open. I was just like flabbergasted.
Yeah.
And I managed to pull then into the left lane because I'm coming up to Eureka.
Yeah.
And I turn left on Eureka and pull into work, and I was just like still speechless because just
Yeah.
because of the timing of it.
Yeah. It's like Trump
And a freak accident.
It's like Trump turning his head
Exactly.
when the bullet
Exactly.
whizzed by his ear.
And that people think that was staged. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No. There was somebody died. Somebody died there. It was bloody, you know. All right, so we come to number 9 now. We're almost done. Do you have any doubts, concerns, or questions about this faith?
No, I just want to just keep building my relationship, you know, with Jesus and just learn to know the Lord more. And Pastor Paul has been amazing, the way he really just tells a story, you know.
Yeah, we're very, very lucky.
I'm gonna really miss him.
All right,
I don't know
friends.
what's gonna happen to us.
Yeah,
And I've got many more. I even had one more here,
we can.
but we'll wait.
We'll do it another time.
Yeah, it's about an angel, my encounter
Yes.
with an
An
angel,
angel, yes.
folks. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We got something to go back to.
Yes.
Friends, I hope you like what we have. And for the last part, I think we'll pray together. How about that?
Yes,
Let's
I
pray
love
together.
that.
So, Lord, we are very pleased that you have been with us to guide our lips, Lord. We don't want to speak our experiences that is puffed up. But we want to share it because we want the people out there to be edified, to know that there is truth in Jesus. He claims to be the way, the truth, and the life. And there's something about that particular statement there that is really very powerful. You see, the truth, which is in the middle of the way and the life, is what defines your reality, isn't it? Because the truth is reality. Without that reality, it's not true. It's something that you can sense and somebody can verify. But in order for you to get to the truth, the reality, someone has to bring you to that truth, the way to understand the truth. And that's Jesus. He is also the truth himself. But to know the truth, you must be alive. Because you cannot know the truth if you're dead.
Right.
He is the life. He gives you that life to know the way to the truth. So those three are so powerful, with the truth being centered. He is the center of reality. Thank you, Jesus, for being with us, Lord, and guiding our discussion today. Thank you, Elizabeth, for this time, and we will go back again to this time. It's beautiful.
I hope that people will find my stories, my experiences, in some way like you said, maybe plant a mustard seed or strengthen their faith. And I do want to say that apologetics and hearing things, it doesn't make me believe more. It just makes me that much more excited when I hear about the Shroud of Turin, when I hear about the ribs and the DNA, and I get like, it's so cool. I love it.
And
It
there's a lot of
just-
scientists.
It's so exciting.
There's a lot of scientists that actually have turned.
Yeah, because they'll
Because of
go,
that.
there's no way this is random.
Yeah, yeah. So, friends, thank you very much for this time with us. Please share with your friends and follow us. Hopefully, you'll be edified. You will get, and you will find those answers. And many of those answers can be found in your observation. Just keep your eyes open,
Mm-hmm.
keep your senses open,
Mm-hmm.
get that discernment, and ask. If you're not sure, ask. Hey, I don't know. God, you must be there because I'm breathing. That's something to be thankful. Show me your goodness, and you might be surprised. So anyway, thank you, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.